Good evening, everyone. Here's hoping you had a wonderful weekend and looking forward to the week ahead. With the stories affecting Dominica, the region, and the world, this is EmoNews for June 8th, 2026. And I am your presenter, Anna Gordon, with the headlines. District Disaster Preparedness Relay successfully held in Cassie Bruce. New pastors for Maho Gospel Tabernacle. Jamaican Prime Minister hosts chess event for children in West Central St. Andrew. Powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake strikes southern Philippines, killing at least 19. Pope Leo XIV calls for peace, unity, and compassion during historic visit to Spain. And the St. Mary's Academy crowned secondary schools under 15 basketball champions. Stay tuned for the details of the news. First up in local news, residents of Cassie Bruce and surrounding communities gathered at the Cassie Bruce playing field on Sunday, June 7th for the District Disaster Preparedness Relay, an interactive event aimed at strengthening disaster preparedness and emergency response skills. Organized by the Office of Disaster Management in collaboration with national and community partners, the event brought together participants of all ages for a series of practical challenges designed to test their readiness in emergency situations. Activities included hazard identification, emergency alert challenges, go bag, packing races, evacuation route runs, shelter setup drills, and fire extinguisher drills. The event sought to promote community resilience and encourage greater preparedness as the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season gets underway. Among the speakers was Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Tuse, who highlighted the shared responsibilities of individuals, communities, and the nation in preparing for disasters.
We must be mindful of responsibilities as it relates to disaster risk reduction or disaster management. And I will speak here of 4 core responsibilities as far as disaster management is concerned. 1, there is the individual responsibility. As an individual, you have that responsibility for your safety, for your security, and ensuring that when hazards occur, that you are safe. And so, as an individual, you must have what we call an individual disaster plan. Events before, during, and after the hazard. Similarly, we're supposed to have what we call a family responsibility. The family is supposed to be responsible for the well-being of family members within that household. And importantly as well, there has to be a family disaster plan, which will indicate the activities that you do before, during, and after any major event. Thirdly, there is the community responsibility. The community as a unit, through the Community Disaster Management Committee and the local authorities, have that responsibility to ensure that the community is placed in a state of preparedness and in a state of readiness for the unlikely event of hazard impacting us, not only during the Atlantic hurricane season, but throughout the year, because things happen from time to time. April 26th was not the hurricane season, and we had this event impacting the trough, impacting the east and the southeast and the northeast. So certainly, the community has a key responsibility. And lastly, the state responsibility. The state will do what it has to do to ensure the safety and security of the citizenry. So in closing, I want to encourage you not only to take it as a competition, but take it as an opportunity for learning, for sharing, and understanding all of the responsibilities that is entrusted to us as individuals, as people in communities, as a country, in ensuring that we do all we can in a collective way for making Dominica much safer, mindful of the fact of Dominica becoming the first climate resilient nation in the world.
Senator Ostel Lockhart, who was also in attendance, shared brief remarks.
Educating citizens on disaster mitigation, safety, preparedness, and resilience. At this time, I extend sincere gratitude to Honorable Blackmore for his leadership, commitment, and unwavering support. The people of the Cassibrus constituency, sir, deeply appreciate your readiness to assist whenever disaster strikes, and for your consistent efforts to remain engaged and in touch before, during, and after these events.
Parliamentary representative for the Cassibrus constituency, Honorable Octavia Alfred, also addressed participants, commending the organizers and community members for their involvement. She emphasized the importance of community engagement and preparedness in protecting lives and property during times of crisis.
June 1st marked the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season. And while we pray for the best, wisdom has taught us to prepare for the rest. That's why I welcome you here. Today's event is a wonderful demonstration of community spirit and disaster preparedness in action. Today's event will serve to remind us that preparation is not something we do only when storms are approaching. It is an ongoing responsibility that requires planning, awareness, and community involvement throughout the year. We know that hurricane and other hazards can impact every member of our community, and the more prepared we are, the better we can protect lives, properties, and livelihoods. Some of our communities are in an area identified as the #2 most vulnerable areas in Dominica. We experience disasters almost annually, and it does not necessarily matter whether it is the hurricane season or not. Rain comes anytime, and 2 hours of rain may cost us $4 million. We remember Maria. We remember November 6, 2022. We went to church and could not get back home, while the rest of Dominica were enjoying blazing sunlight. We remember just last month, and so we thank the government for all the effort that has put into addressing our vulnerability. We know a storm doesn't check your party colors. It affects us all. Hurricanes do not ask about our income. They hit us all. So preparedness is not politics. It's community survival. And it's personal responsibility backed by the public support.
Addressing the gathering, Minister for National Security and Legal Affairs, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, congratulated the people of Cassibrus for their continued commitment to disaster preparedness and their responsiveness to initiatives aimed at strengthening community resilience. He reminded participants that preparedness must be an ongoing effort and encouraged everyone to remain vigilant throughout the hurricane season.
I'm here today in a special way. That is why I'm here today. To really highly commend the people of Cassibrus and the entire constituency encompassing the various hamlets and communities. I want to commend you for your seriousness that you have placed in disaster preparedness. I therefore call on other communities who may be viewing this event here today to emulate that spirit of preparedness that we have demonstrated over the years. The Cassibrus constituency is one of the most, if not the most organized community or constituency insofar as disaster preparedness is concerned. And that has been manifested
every time you are visited by a disaster, that you have been able to mobilize and make requests, and of course you have your power rep and Senator Ostel, but only get water this time around. That's a big glue. And for always being responsive to your needs. Now, we are within the Ministry of National Security and Legal Affairs through the instrumentality of ODM, put together a disaster plan for your community. And that plan was tested. And the level of participation was significant. Because I want to warn us further, but I hear so many people speak and say the hurricane season officially opens on June 1st, whatever. I want to warn you about that. Of course, you have heard our Prime Minister made reference time and time again of the realities of climate change. When a couple of weeks ago, we were outside the hurricane season, but we experienced a serious and significant hydromet event. Flooding, landslide, just name it. We were not officially in hurricane season. It means, therefore, we have to prepare for the possible eventuality of a disaster every day, every week, every month, every year. It must not be a seasonal endeavor. And preparedness begins with the youth, the individual. It begins with the households. It begins with the community. Bearing in mind, whenever disaster strikes, the first responders are always the community members. And that is why ODM, of course, is placing so much emphasis in those various outreach programs throughout the country to ensure that people are trained in the various dynamics and fundamentals of disaster preparedness.
The relay also featured participation from the Dominica Red Cross, primary health care, local government representatives, the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Service, the Dominica Meteorological Service, and other key stakeholders involved in disaster management and emergency response. Organizers described the event as a success and praised the enthusiasm displayed by participants. They noted that initiatives such as the District Disaster Preparedness Relay play a vital role in educating communities, improving emergency response capabilities, and fostering a culture of preparedness across Dominica. The event was supported by sponsors including Fine Foods Incorporated, Blue Waters, Car Adventure Incorporated, Senator Ostel Lockhart, Mr. Ryan Raymond, and Ms. Chrysler Thomas. The day's activities reinforced the event's theme: be prepared, be safe, be ready. Members of the Maho Gospel Tabernacle gathered on Sunday for a special pastoral installation service honoring Pastors Erickson and Magdalene Bertrand. The service held at the Maho Gospel Tabernacle on Campbell Road in Maho was conducted under the theme Answering the Call, Embracing the Mission. Family members, church leaders, invited guests, and congregants came together to celebrate this significant milestone in the life of the church and its leadership. The installation ceremony was officiated by Apostle Ashley Estrada, Apostolic Overseer, who encouraged the newly installed pastors to remain faithful to God's calling and committed to serving the spiritual needs of the congregation and the wider community. Throughout the service, worshippers offered prayers, words of encouragement, and expressions of support for Pastors Erickson and Magdalene Bertrand as they officially assumed their pastoral responsibilities. The event was marked by praise and worship, scripture readings, and reflections on the importance of servant leadership and dedication to God's work. Attendees also reflected on the biblical message found in John 10:10, which states, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." Church members described the occasion as a joyous and inspiring celebration, expressing confidence in the leadership of the Bertrand family and their vision for the future of the ministry. The installation service concluded with prayers of blessing and commitment as the congregation pledged its support for the pastors in their mission to serve God and the people of Dominica. The Dominica Grammar School class of 1995 is gearing up for a grand reunion in October. The steering committee has been working feverishly behind the scenes to ensure that alumni participate fully in the activities planned. Petra Grell-Shillingford of the class of 1995 has more.
As a group that we need to come together to reconnect and just get rooted in our history and all the good memories that we had being students of the Dominica Grammar School. Over 130 of us graduated. We actually went through the halls of grammar school from 1990 to 1995. And although we've gone on different paths throughout our life and in terms of our careers and opportunities, and even within the territories, because a lot of our past members or past students are away, we felt that we need to reconnect. And as you know, if you're from Dominica, if you're in Dominica, October is the prime time when reconnection takes place in terms of cultural cuisine and just a general ambience of being in Dominica during that time that you really come back. It's really nostalgic. So we felt that October would be the prime time that we come together as a group and we call ourselves the class of 95 to reconnect and get rerouted and refined in what we have been known to be one of our fundamental pillars to our development. That is not only our education in terms of books and our qualifications, but just in terms of our socialization as to how we really look out for one another, how we assist.
The reunion group also plans to raise funds to assist their alma mater.
We also felt that this was a time that we could help, and some of us paying it forward and some of us are paying it back to the Dominica Grammar School or alma mater. As you know, Dominica Grammar School is over 100 and more years old. And so therefore we felt that if we contribute, we are well positioned to continue to assist grammar school and to continue to have grammar school, Dominica Grammar School, that is the legacy that it always had, where it produces some really scholars, it produces some citizens that are really productive within our society.
Grell-Shillingford also called on those past students who have not connected with them as yet to do so.
Those of our 95ers who are not on our connections right now, that they can form part of it, they can contact us and they can be part of it. What we're looking for is a week in October where we have celebrations, we have our gala, we have various activities, sports activities, and we also have one day towards contributing to the Dominica Grammar School. But before we do that, before we have the official launch, I just wanted to come on and say thank you very much for those who have contributed, and so also that we are able to give back to grammar school. While we're doing that, you may see some persons who are really out there with raffle books, with raffle sheets, etc., trying to raise funds. So these funds are not for our activity. These are to contribute to Dominica Grammar School, and they're exciting prizes, I must say. And so once again, we will give some more information, but we are going to officially launch the reunion of the class of 95 coming soon to you. Thank you.
Look out for raffle sheets and take a chance to raise funds to donate to the Dominica Grammar School. The prizes include a round trip on Express des Îles, an air fryer, a cell phone, and VIP ticket to Breakfast Fete. Support the class of 1995 in their efforts to raise funds for the Dominica Grammar School by buying a raffle ticket and enjoying one of the lovely prizes if you are the lucky winner. The official launch of reunion activities will take place later this week. And finally, in local news this evening, wellness tourism takes the center stage in June and July in Dominica. The Ministry of Tourism and the Discover Dominica Authority launched tourism awareness program on Friday. According to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Claudius Lestrade, tourism awareness is important for locals and visitors alike.
This is an important period for the Ministry's calendar, dedicated to increasing national awareness of the value of tourism. Each year, Tourism Awareness Month provides a platform to reflect on the direction of the tourism sector while recognizing the efforts of our stakeholders and encouraging greater public participation in the development of one of Dominica's most important industries.
This year's theme, he said, is positioning Dominica through wellness tourism. According to him, the theme represents what Dominica has been doing all along.
This theme invites us to look closer at one of the most promising areas for the continued growth and diversification of the Dominica's tourism sector. The ministry selected Wellness Tourism Month as this year's focus because it aligns naturally with Dominica's strengths and with the direction of global travel. Across the world, visitors are becoming more intentional about the destinations they choose, with greater emphasis being placed on the value of the overall experience. Trends show increased interest in destinations that offer a genuine connection to nature and culture, rather than experiences that can be easily replicated elsewhere. This shift presents a clear opportunity for Dominica to position itself as the leading wellness destination in the region.
The Permanent Secretary added that the world is moving in the direction of wellness tourism, and it's only natural for Dominica to position itself to benefit from the $18.4 billion spent on wellness tourism in 2025.
Globally, wellness tourism has grown into one of the most dynamic areas of the tourism industry. The sector has valued approximately $18.4 billion in 2022 and is projected to continue expanding significantly in the years ahead. This level of growth demonstrates that wellness evolved from a marginal area of travel to become a major driver of tourism development and destination competitiveness. For small island destinations, this is particularly important because it supports a more sustainable approach to tourism development, as it can draw value from natural assets and local knowledge. For Dominica, wellness tourism is not a trend that we have to manufacture, because many of the elements that define the sector already exist across our island.
Odile John Baptist, Product Promotions Manager, outlined some of the events for Tourism Awareness Month.
Throughout the program, we will engage students, wellness practitioners, tourism stakeholders, business people, and members of the public through initiatives that showcase the many connections between wellness and tourism. These activities will encourage learning, foster collaboration, and highlight the opportunities that exist within one of Dominica's most important economic sectors. Youth engagement is an important component of this year's program. On June 10th, we will launch the Be Well in Nature Poetry Competition. This will target secondary school students between the ages of 14 and 16 to creatively explore the relationship between wellness, nature, sustainable living, and Dominica's identity as the nature island of the Caribbean.
There will also be a poetry competition for secondary school students on June 10th.
Wellness was selected as the focus for 2026 because it reflects many of the unique experiences already available across Dominica, while creating opportunities for participation across multiple sectors. It is a theme that connects tourism, healthy living, environmental stewardship, and community development, highlighting the many ways while tourism contributes to national well-being.
Other events include a public panel discussion at Jungle Bay on wellness tourism on June 11th. There'll also be a wellness fair on July 4th at the UE Global Campus, where participants can win exciting prizes, including tickets on Sunrise Airways, Express des Îles, and tickets to the World Creole Music Festival. A mocktail competition will be held on July 19th, and the activities will conclude on July 28th with the Tourism Service Excellence Awards. That's it for local news. We'll be right back with original news.
Celebrate this Father's Day with us on Saturday, June 20th. It's game time at Blast Bistro.
Father's Day special idea.
Bring dad or step up as dad in the father and son or father versus father domino showdown. Starting 5 p.m. sharp, enjoy live sports, old school hits, and pure Caribbean vibes. Grab the Daddy Combo. 6 beers, 8 wings for just $50.
Grab it.
Plus, shots 2 for $10, rum punch specials, and beer buckets with prizes to be won.
Prizes too.
Don't miss the action, only at Blast Bistro. Come for the game, stay for the laugh.
I am that.
On the regional scene, forestry officers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are taking part in a 2-week training program aimed at strengthening ecosystem management, climate change adaptation and mitigation, food security, and sustainable agriculture. The program, which began on June 1st, is being delivered through the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Integrated Landscape Management Project with funding from the European Union. It builds on the Diploma in Conservation and Management of Forests, Wildlife, Parks, and the Environment offered by the University of Trinidad and Tobago. The training is being facilitated by Kimberly Singh and Lakshman Lokan, who are providing practical skills to improve natural resource management and climate resilience. Sessions are being held at the Forestry Services Conference Room, which was recently upgraded to support ongoing training and environmental management initiatives. Barbados and the British Virgin Islands were among the top honorees at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Caribbean Women in Tourism Leadership Awards held during Caribbean Week in New York. Andrea Franklin, Chief Executive Officer of Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, was named Director of Tourism of the Year 2026, while Luz Hodge Smith, Junior Minister of Tourism and Culture for the British Virgin Islands, received the Minister or Commissioner of Tourism of the Year award. The event also recognized Dr. Lisa Inda, Executive Director of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA, with the Secretary General's Distinguished Service Award. 6 women were inducted into the Caribbean Women in Tourism Leadership Hall of Fame. Valerie Damaso, Commissioner of Tourism and Culture, St. Martin; Marsha Henderson, Minister of Tourism, St. Kitts and Nevis; Rosa Harris, Director of Tourism, Cayman Islands; Beverly Nicholson Doty, Chief Executive Officer, Figment Design; Petra Roach, Director of Sales and Marketing, Wyndham Grand Barbados; Caroline Chubetskoy, Executive Director of Marketing and Operations, and Chasney and Jade Mountain Resort, St. Lucia. A new scholarship fund launched during the ceremony raised US $13,000 to support young Caribbean women pursuing careers in tourism. The Caribbean Tourism Awards continue to celebrate the women helping to shape the future of Caribbean tourism. And finally, in regional news, Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness has highlighted the value of chess as a tool for youth development following a successful chess event in his West Central St. Andrew constituency. The event brought together children from across the constituency for a day of learning, friendly competition, and skill building. Participants had the opportunity to develop their chess abilities while engaging with their peers in a positive environment. Prime Minister Holness, a chess enthusiast, said the game helps young people build critical thinking, patience, discipline, and problem-solving skills. He praised the strong turnout and thanked organizers, volunteers, parents, and partners for making the event a success. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts to promote youth development and create positive opportunities for children throughout West Central St. Andrew. And that's all for regional news this evening. We'll be right back with international news. On the international scene, a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the southern Philippines on Monday, killing at least 19 people and injuring more than 200 others. The quake, centered offshore near General Santos City, caused widespread damage across the Mindanao region, with buildings collapsing, roads cracking, and emergency crews launching search and rescue operations. The tremor also triggered tsunami warnings for parts of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan, though authorities later said the threat had largely passed. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered an immediate emergency response and urged residents in affected coastal areas to move to higher ground. The Philippines, located along the Pacific Ring of Fire, experiences frequent earthquakes and volcanic activity. Emergency teams continue to assess damage and assist affected communities. Finally, in international news, Pope Leo XIV has used his first major European trip to call for peace, unity, and compassion amid growing global tensions and divisions. Speaking in Madrid, the pontiff said the world is crying out for peace and urged greater solidarity, particularly toward migrants and refugees. During his 6-day visit to Spain, Pope Leo is expected to address Parliament, meet survivors of clerical abuse, and visit the Canary Islands to meet migrant communities. The Pope also encouraged young people seeking meaning and purpose, while stressing that faith should be lived through service and compassion. His visit concludes in Barcelona, where he will celebrate Mass at the Sagrada Familia and inaugurate its new Tower of Jesus Christ. That's it for international news this evening. We'll be right back with sports.
New game in town. Get ready to match 5 and you can win 10K. Let's go. Play with just $2. Match 5 numbers from 1 to 29 to win. Draws every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. It's easy, fun, and local. Match 5, your local jackpot game. Dominican National Lottery.
In exciting sports news, the St. Mary's Academy, SMA, emerged as champions of the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-15 Basketball Championship after defeating the Dominica Grammar School 65-55 in the finals on Friday. The championship game, played before an appreciative crowd at the Windsor Park Stadium forecourt, showcased the talent and determination of both teams as they battled for the coveted title. SMA was led by Lamar Sabroch, who top scored with 17 points and played a key role in securing the victory. He received support from Carter James, who contributed 10 points to the winning efforts. For the Dominica Grammar School, Emmanuel Drygo delivered an outstanding performance, recording a game high of 27 points. Despite his efforts, the grammar school was unable to overcome the balanced attack of the SMA team. In recognition of his impressive display throughout the championship match, Lamar Sabroch was named the most valuable player of the final. The victory marks a significant achievement for the SMA as they claim the 2026 Secondary Schools Under-15 Basketball Championship title. Congratulations to the St. Mary's Academy. In football news, Maho Soccer Strikers secured all 3 points after defeating Bafe State 5-3 in an exciting 8-goal encounter at the DFA Technical Center. Goals from Jamo Talbot, Nelson Woodman, Taquante Woodman, and Francis Luke powered Maho to victory in a match that kept spectators entertained from start to finish. Bafe State fought hard throughout the contest, with Afani Frederick, Kelrick Walters, and Malik Roberts all finding the back of the net, but their efforts were not enough to prevent defeat. Taquante Woodman delivered a standout performance for Maho, scoring twice and earning the Player of the Match award. In another Division 1 fixture, All Saints University staged a late comeback to begin their 2026 DFA Division 1 League campaign with a 2-1 victory over Warner. Warner Sports Club took the lead through Shakim Joseph, but Joseph Danso turned the game around with 2 goals in the final 15 minutes, securing a dramatic win for All Saints University. Meanwhile, Week 7 of the DFA Premier League also produced plenty of excitement. Harlem United recorded an important 4-2 victory over Portsmouth Bombers, while Dubler maintained their unbeaten run with a convincing 3-1 win over We United. As the season progresses, every point is becoming increasingly valuable, with teams continuing to battle for position in what remains a highly competitive league. In international cricket, the second one-day international between the West Indies and Sri Lanka at Sabina Park was abandoned without a ball bowled due to persistent rain. Sri Lanka retained a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series after a 41-run win in the opening one-day international. The decisive third and final match is set for June 8th, with the West Indies needing a victory to avoid a series defeat. Sri Lanka needed only a win or another no result to secure the series. The one-day international series is part of Sri Lanka's multi-format tour of the Caribbean, which also includes 3 T20 internationals and 2 test matches. And finally, in local cricket, we'll hear from Kimara Ito, the PRO of the Dominica Cricket Association, as she tells us what went down in the weekend's exciting matches.
The 2026 NCCU-DCA Premier League continued over the weekend with KFC Summits producing a commanded performance at Benjamin's Park. It was a Cavem Hodge masterclass as KFC Summits secured an innings and 86-run victory over Convenience Plus Maho. After winning the toss and electing to bat, Summits posted 284 for 4 declared, led by an unbeaten 145 from Cavem Hodge, the second century of the season. He received support from Stephen Pascal 34 and Elton Mark 25. Micah Joseph was the pick of the Maho bowlers with 3 for 72. In reply, Maho were overwhelmed by the Summit's bowling attack and were dismissed for 51 runs. Hodge continued his dominance with the ball, claiming 7 for 17, while Elton Mark supported brilliantly with 3 for 28. Asked to follow on, Maho showed more resistance in their second innings, but was still bowled out for 146 in 28.5 overs. Clemenson LeBlanc top scored with 68, while Edmund Moranci added 30. Once again, Hodge proved unstoppable, finishing with 6 for 62 to complete a remarkable all-round performance and led Summits to victory. Meanwhile, at Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Colts and Tremors played to a draw after an evenly contested encounter. Winning the toss and batting first, Colts were dismissed for 118. Jason Alexander led with scoring with 65, while Kevin Alexander 31 and Melvin Defoe 22 contributed. For Tremors, John Matthew claimed 3 for 34 and Tyron Theophil took 3 for 28. Tremors responded with 218 all-outs, gaining a first innings advantage. Jamie James top scored with 53, while Jerome Loval made 36 and John Matthew added 32. Colts' bowling effort was led by Courtney Ansem 4 for 59 and Jeremy Isaac 4 for 15. Batting a second time, Colts reached 80 for 4 before the match concluded in a draw, with Lex McLeod topping score with 37. The scheduled match at the Botanic Gardens between Najiko Northern Star Sports Club and the Simon Kalinago Blasters was called off. Stay tuned for more updates from the 2026 NCCU-DCA Premier League.
And that's all for sports news. We'll be right back with the weather report.
Hello, good day, and welcome to our weather broadcast for today, Monday, June 8th. I am your presenter, Annie Corretto Joseph. Let's begin by taking a look at the surface analysis, and currently the National Hurricane Center, they are monitoring 4 tropical waves in the eastern and central Atlantic. As we take a look at the satellite imagery, we can see this area of cloudiness associated with these waves. The first wave here is expected to move across the southern Lesser Antilles by Tuesday evening. The remainder expected to move across the extreme southern portion of the Lesser Antilles during the latter week. The Atlantic high pressure system was the dominant feature across the Lesser Antilles today, and we saw quite a bit of patches of low level clouds moving across the area. As we zoom in on Dominica, we can see quite a bit of these patches moving in across the island, maintaining generally cloudy conditions. Radar imagery indicated no shower activity over Dominica during the course of the morning. However, we see some light isolated showers coming in from the east. A reduction in saron dust can be expected today and on Tuesday. However, as we move into Wednesday, we expect to see that increase in concentration, and this is expected to remain for the remainder of the week. As a result, persons with respiratory sensitivities, you are advised to continue to exercise caution. Mariners, if you're venturing out to sea, please take along your navigational devices as there may be low visibility. Conditions for tonight: mostly cloudy skies with a few showers. A surface to mid-level trough is expected to move across the island. Winds to be generally east-northeasterly to easterly, peaking to near 30 kilometers per hour. Relatively warm evening with temperatures down to about 24 degrees Celsius on the coast, about 22 in the interior. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few showers. We expect to see an increase in haze concentration as we move into Wednesday, and it lingers into Thursday and Friday. Temperatures to peak near 32 degrees Celsius along the coast and down to about 28-29 degrees Celsius in the interior. Nights to cool to about 24 degrees Celsius along the coast and about 22 in the interior. Winds generally east-northeasterly to east-southeasterly, peaking to near 20 kilometers per hour tomorrow, Tuesday. A slight increase to about 25 kilometers per hour on Wednesday and Thursday. Marine conditions: waves up to about 7 feet on the east coast, down to about 3 feet on the west coast. A further reduction expected on the east coast to about 5 feet on Wednesday. However, we expect to return back up to 7 feet on Thursday. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:34 a.m. and set at 6:35 p.m. The high tides will be at 10:24 a.m. and 10:33 p.m., while the low tides will be at 4:26 a.m. and 4:12 p.m. For up-to-date information, you can follow our WhatsApp channel by scanning this QR code, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dominica Met, or follow our website at weather.gov.dm. Thank you for viewing, and join us next time for your next weather broadcast. Good day.
This has been Emo Nightly News for June 8th, 2026. I am your presenter, Anna Gordon, and I'll be back with you tomorrow to bring you more details of news shaping Dominica, the region, and the world. Do have a lovely evening. Goodbye.